So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to be here. I know I say that every week, and it is true every week, with each and every one of you. As we always say, it takes a village to do this. And while Gary and Diana and I do work very dedicated behind the scenes, we couldn't do it at all without you guys. You're, like as Diana says, the fourth wheel. So we acknowledge and thank you for being here every Saturday morning. Now, today we're very privileged to have Loredana. Loredana Zinca is a homeschooling mom, an entrepreneur, and a dream maker. She loves God, her boys, and travel, with Banff being her newfound love, which if anybody wants to search Banff on the internet, or if you haven't been there, it's spectacular. Loredana immigrated from Romania at age 10, where she lived as a malnourished child in total poverty. M5M Foundation captured her heart and the opportunity to build something that she is in control of instead of giving her life to a boss. That really appealed. And you'll see why when you hear her passion. Loredana is a naturally articulate communicator. Her passion and energy for life is what she loves. She's attraction marketing is, that's what she's made of. If you, again, I'm repeating myself here, but if you go and search her on Facebook and watch some of her videos, her style is spectacular. She has implemented and committed to Manitech's social media strategy known as the ATM, or AgTag message, and was in the initial pilot group in order to launch the new strategies. Loredana is committed to do the work that is required to be successful in network marketing, and at the same time freely shares her knowledge, passion, and time with the global Manitech field. She is all in for as long as it takes to get to her big goal. Loredana says ATM opens up all the markets from the comfort of our own home via Zoom, social media platforms, etc. I think it's genius. With the time, commitment, and consistency, I don't see why each of us can't reach our goal and live our dreams. So, Loredana, I know there's going to be many people taking notes and following in your footsteps here this weekend. So thank you so very much for being here today.
Oh my goodness, Sharon, I've got goosebumps. You made me tear up talking about M5M and just kind of painting that picture of the journey of how I got here. I just am super thankful and super grateful. I'll never take Manitech, its leaders, the heart behind this company for granted. It is a gift to all of us that every day in our gratitude journal, we need to talk about and write it down. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's such an honor. I am super excited to be here.
Thank you, Loredana. So we always love to start with how people got started, introduced, because we all have such a unique yet common journey. How did you come to Manitech?
So my story is such that actually I knew about Manitech 20 years ago. My husband and I had just got married. We were young, naive. We thought life was, now we're married and we own the whole world. And so we came to Canada and right away found out that, oh my goodness, actually life is super hard. And what really irked me, I guess I would say the word is, we thought that it would be easy, two parents working full time, that you would be able to get ahead and save for a house, car, etc. And very quickly we found out that that is not the case. We were just barely making ends meet. We were back then 20 years ago at our very lowest point, to the point where the church members, it actually chokes me up, because they would come at Christmas time and leave boxes of food at our door because they knew our situation. And there's a bunch of stuff around that, money mindset, all that kind of stuff. But what happened is a friend of mine, a really good friend of ours that was in a church, came to us, and he was in Manitech at that time. And he said, hey, you guys, I have an opportunity. I'd like to share it with you. Would you give, the typical invitation? My husband he was barely in Canada, maybe a year. So his English was not very good. And when he saw the presentation, he was really thrown off. And I just want to preface that with, coming from Romania, a third world country, everything is done under the table. People cheat you, steal you, do all kinds of weird things. So he was like, nope, this is a pyramid scheme. Nope, this is a scam. And I fell in love with it. I was like, my gosh, if this is real and I can do this from home, I've got the golden ticket. I want to do this. But he wasn't for it. So what happened is my friend bless his heart, bought us like a 6-month pack of products. And I was suffering with some stuff as well in my body, my, body aches and pains and joints and all those things. I had an accident when I was little. And when I was taking those products, I realized at the 4th month in that, hey, this is actually the first time that I've had relief from this. When I bend over to do, the tub and stuff like that, it doesn't hurt. And it was very transformational for me. And then to know that I could make money from home was super exciting. However, long story short, my husband was really against it. We were fighting over it. Life happened. We moved. My sponsor moved, and a 10-year span happened where I just kind of set it on the shelf. But all the time I was thinking about it, and I thought, man, that was a good opportunity. Like, I'd never seen anything like it before. Actually, I had, but it was different. It was different products. I wasn't interested. But the idea was kind of cool. But this was really awesome. So then what happened is about 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago, another lady came to me and she said, hey, you were in skincare for 10 years. We have this incredible product called Youth. I think you will like it. Do you want to try it? And it was funny because she hadn't remembered, maybe 5 years before that, I had gone to her with the supplement. And she said, no, I'm good. I have a good regime. Anyways, long story short, that's how I started. And my husband, the second time around, said, well, I really need to try the products because if you're that, passionate about it, I need to know that it works and I can support you. And now he and my kids are my biggest supporters. They always are for me and dreaming for me, especially, on the days when you're kind of down. They're like, no, mom, you've got this. No, mom, remember. And it's really amazing.
That's awesome. And so you've gone on, I imagine, to have, like all of us, multiple people in your family who've been blessed by the technology.
Yes, in some sense. My family here in Canada is pretty small. Like, I'm actually at my mom's house right now. She broke her arm, and so I'm helping her. It's my mom, and I don't have a big family in Canada. And yeah, my mom has used the products here and there, and she does like them very much. She's, by herself and stuff like that. So, we're we're working on her having this all the time. But yes, my family and my kids specifically, we've all felt it. In fact, my kids actually ask for the products, and that is the truth. They will ask, especially for a long time now, we haven't had any symptoms, and I know we have to be really compliant here, but we haven't had anything. But in the beginning, say like 4 years ago, I remember my littlest guy, he would ask for the Immunostar because he knew as soon as he got something, if I gave him that, it would go away. So we've seen amazing transformations. And, a lot of my customers, I just love their stories that they come back, and especially the skeptical ones that took a chance on me. And then they say, you know what, I'm actually grateful you showed me this and you were persistent. So, it's rewarding.
Yeah, I think if we could see everybody's faces here, we all be nodding our head to that, especially those of you. I'm a big warm welcome to anybody who's brand new today, but for those of us that have been around for a while and now, depend our well-being on this technology, we've all seen that. And I'm a mom in business as well. I can validate for you, my kids are exactly the same. My middle son, he'd always, I need some Manipul, mom, I need some Manipul. So he has some chronic, his weakness, whatever reason, is in his sinuses, and he knows that immediately gives him relief. And also I notice he has more energy. So I think we're probably keeping on top of something that, who knows what's around the corner, but it's a tool that we have to use in our hands, isn't it?
It is, for sure.
And parents want to keep their kids healthy. It's such a relief to have a secret weapon that takes us a lot of the way towards whatever life might throw at us. So
exactly.
When you first started on the Youth, you got introduced to the Youth. Was it from a business perspective, or how did you start with just the product?
So it was from a business perspective, and I saw the opportunity. They showed the circles and all that, because that was new compared to 15 years before. And it just was exciting. I thought, I'm passionate about skincare, but then, it's kind of funny starting to take the products and seeing such difference. I love youth. I'm passionate about it, but it's actually not my focus. It is the supplements more so than the youth. Yeah.
Yeah, I can, we use youth all the time as well. It's, so again, for those of you, if you're new and you haven't heard of youth, you know, I'm an older mom, so I'm 63, and I now depend on it. So I keep looking as young as I can for my kids, because they sometimes they're sensitive about that. So when you first started the business, like, was it just like a rocket ship to success, or what was your journey? What has your
No.
journey been like?
Have you ever seen that picture that floats around, social media? It's like this and then down, and it's like a big, it looks like a spaghetti plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been that. It's been up, it's been down. In fact, just to be really, candid with you all, last month I thought, oh my goodness, I'm working so hard. I'm trying to advance, not just keep my rank, but advance. And then halfway through the month, I was like, okay, game change here. I think I just need to really work hard to just maintain my rank, because some people had dropped off, lost work, this happened, that happened, the other thing. So you always have to shift and pivot and just be okay with what's happening. Something Al just said to me, even last week, he said, all you can do is all you can do, and that is good enough. And that was like huge relief for me, because I am a red and I need to go and I have to have and I have to reach. And when I don't, it's like I don't have peace and I'm not settled. But I'm really honing that in, because it is true. We only have 24 hours a day and you can only do as much as you can do. So what I did was, the last 2 days of BP, I just went a little crazy and I thought, whatever happens, happens. And what happened is I kept my rank and I advanced. So it was pretty exciting. But for sure it's not. And I'm still not at the place I want to be. My goal, my beginner goal, I guess I could say, is presidential. I want to be on that, stage with everyone else and hugging everyone else. And then of course go beyond that. I don't want to stop there, but that is my focus, is to get to presidential. So it's exciting, but it's definitely an up and down journey. And that's something I really just want to encourage and stress, is that there are days when I'm sure some of you have questioned, oh my gosh, is this worth it? Like, it's so much work. It seems like, does anybody really care? Like some days, I don't know, I can't see hands, but some days you wonder, do people even care about their health? Like, what's going on? And then, the next day, all of a sudden, the work you did 3 months ago, now there's 7 messages. Hey, I remember you said about this. Can I take a look again? What is it? Or whatever. So never underestimate that whatever work you do today is gone to waste. It hasn't. You're doing work today that you're going to get paid a month or 2 or 3, or even sometimes years later. It's really cool.
That's really an empowering quote from Malbala. I'm sure everybody here, I know Rachel's just written it in the comments, and Colleen's commenting. And I think everybody who's been in any goal achievement process, whether it's a home business like this, which is for most people quite a new learning curve, or anything else in life, that's a very empowering. He's a wise man, Mr.
He
Albala.
is. Yeah. I lean in when he talks, because I'm like, I need to hear more. Yes.
Yeah, we're really blessed to have him. So what's your day-to-day like? What do you recommend for your team? So
Day to day, DMO, the DMO of the day, right, is daily method of operation. So it's really awesome. I'm obviously not going to dive into every single nitty gritty part of it, because we need like another 2 hours, but it is the ATM tracking system. And if, it's up in the group now, M United, I believe. I'm not actually sure. I haven't been there. I'm in the training one, and then the, product, M True Health, and then the gig one. But in one of the units, you can download this, and it's just super helpful, because even if you're super organized, if you're very intentional, you have good motivation skills, it doesn't matter. I found myself that I'd be literally twirling in my living room going, what was I doing? Where am I going? What's going on? Like, because we have so many things on our list. And something that I learned from his name just went out the window. He's an older gentleman. We had him at Manifest. He's got white hair, and he something to do with Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy. And something that really stuck with me is, you know, you have to do what's the most important to the least important, make that list, and then go to the next day. If you haven't got to what was important but not severely important, do it the next day, the first thing. And then I honestly, like, okay, so we need to preface this with, this is 90% of the time what I do. There are days when, you know, you have, I don't know, a doctor's appointment with my son, and it takes all day because we have to drive 2 hours away, 2 hours back. So I can't possibly fit all this in. But what I do is I pick the most important that will still keep the momentum going. And most importantly, for me, what's valuable is to keep in touch with my audience. So the people I'm chatting with in Messenger, the people that are liking and commenting my posts and seeing my views, my videos, I go and I make sure that I show them the support and love, comment and like something genuine on their stuff. That's really important. So I have three things: live video. If it's a crazy busy day, now some days I sometimes don't get to a live video, but that is number one, because that is super powerful. That's where I've had my customers, is the power of live video. And it's starting to happen more and more. So again, is it rocket? No, like, you build it up over the years. And if you're consistent enough, people are watching long enough, you create curiosity long enough, you give value, they're going to come back to you without you even realizing. And the really cool part is a lot of times you go, oh my gosh, I didn't know that they were listening or paying attention. So it's really neat. So it's live videos. Content is super important. You have to be on there. You can't just kind of be in Messenger and talk with everyone, but not give value, because the world we live in today, people are on social media for entertainment, to get value, be encouraged, to laugh, all those things. And you have to meet that in the need for your audience. You guys might have heard this book, and I highly recommend it. At first, when I glanced through it, I thought, man, I wasted $40, but it is awesome. It's Gary V. I don't know how to say his last, Vanderchuk or something. And it's Jab, Jab, Right Hook. And that was important to me to learn, because it's give, 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 ask. So give value, give content, you know, be the light on social media, be the positive one, because there's a lot of negativity, a lot of politics, a lot of nonsense. Be that for people, that they actually will feel safe to come to your profile and say, I really like her and I want to hear what she has to say every single day. What is it today? That's why it's important to be consistent, because it's kind of like a TV channel. People tune into that, and now they expect you to be there. And then when you're not, they'll text you and say, whoa, I missed you today. Is everything okay? So yeah, those are the three things: content, consistency, and live videos. And then when I do have the time, which is most of the time, my kids are in school now, I go through the ATM and just block out. I put my phone on mute. I block out and I time everything. Okay, half an hour. I'm going into groups and I'm going to be social and chat, ask questions, give value. For example, if someone is talking about, you know, something that resonates with me within our industry of health and wellness, if I know a tip, I'll love their comment, and then I'll underneath reply to them. Hey, have you ever tried this? Not our products. I mean, I don't know, for example, have you ever tried ginger tea at night because it does this and this and this, or whatever? Give something to help them come to you to have the conversation. Keep going for a little bit, and then take it over into Messenger, where it's just you now, it's not public. And that's where you can ask, you know, you do the family, occupation, all those things. What is that, the formula? I just lost it off the top of my head. You ask them, you know, their occupation, what they like, what's their dream, all that form. Yeah. Form or forward, right? And then there's always an open door. If we listen long enough and ask the right questions, everyone eventually gets to money or health. Those are the two things that they always lean into. And that's a great opportunity for us to then say, you know, can I make a recommendation? Boom.
Absolutely. And do you ever get stuck for content ideas?
No, because the cool thing is that's where self-development comes in. I realized that about a year ago because I was afraid of that. I was doing live videos like 4 years ago every single day, and I was starting to kind of like, wow, what do I do today? What should I talk about? And then when I started to put personal development in place every single morning, listening to a podcast of somebody I like, either personal development or to do with our field, the industry, how to market or how to uh, be social or sell or whatever, I always get an idea. And then I put my own flair and twist on it. I'll have a testimony or story that I think about, or something fun that will come up. And it's just, having fun and being creative, letting your imagination really go. Because in one way, it is a bit, it is competitive. We'll stop the channel from flowing if we catch people's attention. So we have to be a little bit wild, a little bit crazy, a little bit loud sometimes, a little bit, in their face so that they stop scrolling, because everyone is just nonstop scrolling like this. So, oh shoot, I had a phone come in. Did that interrupt us?
No, we're good.
Oh, okay, that's good. So no, not anymore. I do sometimes, yeah, again, if I don't read something or listen to something, sometimes I do struggle and I go, well, what should I talk about today? But surprisingly enough, something always comes up, because if you sit down and think about it and actually think about your audience, what value could I give them today? Then you come up with something.
Mm. Fantastic. And so I know I've heard some of your videos before, and that, social media isn't the be all and the end all for everybody. Like everybody has their own style and there's lots of different ways. What has made a difference for you in moving to more social media marketing?
So I'm going to be totally transparent. I think it must be maybe my generation. I'm not sure. That I think has to do a lot with it. I have done, the cold calls, the belly to belly, go to strangers' homes, which now you're not even permitted to do that anymore. You can't solicit anymore. I've done, in malls, in stores, and it was super uncomfortable. And the whole time I thought to myself, this isn't duplicatable. Like, not too many people have the guts to do what I'm doing right now. And I'm a gutsy person. So if I'm a gutsy person and I'm having a hard time, how can I expect other people to be able to do this? So I realized, social media is actually really incredible if we think about it, because there's a couple of things that happen. I have some people that are mute, I think it's called in English. They can't hear. Is that right? Deaf. I'm sorry, deaf.
Deaf. Deaf, yeah.
They might be mute too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've never spoken with them, but anytime, I remember in the beginning when I would send her voice audio, she would always type, "My friend, I can't hear. Can you type it?" And that's when I realized, that's right. This is the beauty of doing it on social media, because I can show something, I can text something, and everyone seems to be comfortable behind this, talking to people, and they can open up. Whereas out there, not a chance, especially when you have a line of people in the grocery store, they're not opening up. You're probably putting them in trouble to lose their job. So that was attractive to me. Plus, I just see the duplication. My imagination runs huge, and I see, well, it's incredible that I have people on my team, like my customer base. They're in Guam. Some of them are, some of them in South Africa, Canada and the States. I could never do that if I was doing it the old-fashioned way, which I have nothing against that. But for me, it just made me realize that instead of hopping on a plane, going somewhere, I just sit down, put the timer on, and I can talk to 20 people in multiple countries out of the comfort of my own living room. So to me, that was a humongous aha moment. And it's fun because people can let down their barriers once you start to show them love and start to post on their things and comment and notice and ask and be about them. They'll let their guard down and they'll tell you things. Sometimes I've had things being told to me that probably I shouldn't have had, and I've had to there's people where you have to put boundaries, but it's a lot safer and more comfortable and for everyone, I find.
So are there any do's and don'ts that you'd recommend for people just starting on videos, like certain times a day, or what, do you have a strategy for that?
Yeah, so that one is a little hard to say for anyone. It's kind of like a fingerprint. For me, you have to look at your analytics with your audience. So when you okay, let's back up. If you're first just starting out, there is a thing I wouldn't do. I would not start with ads. I think that's super complicated right off the bat. I think the new associate would need to just kind of, get their feet wet. What are we about? And just get themselves out there on social media with funny memes or an encouraging quote or something like that, and just kind of get themselves out there. And then down the road, like I'm starting to think about ads now, but that's like 7 years in, and everyone's different. Maybe somebody comes in and they're such an expert with that. That's fine. But yes, you have to look at your analytics and see where your people are from, and the time of day that is best. I can't say I've really, cracked the code on that yet. I'm still trying to figure it out, because we have to juggle our life, right? So maybe for me, it is better in the morning, but right now, the way I do things and, with different things that I'm involved in, 2 o'clock seems to be the good time for me. But I am always open and willing to pivot and learn. So it's a good question, because I was thinking to myself just the other day, maybe I should start going in the morning and see what happens there. And then not to be discouraged, because it's kind of like, waves. I had if you guys scroll back on my page, there's videos there with like 1K views, 4,000. One of them is like 10,000. Now I'm like down to 200 again. And there's a lot of variables there too. It's been super busy. I haven't been as consistent in putting so much time on social media. So those, I guess, are kind of the cons about it. You do have to constantly be there and show up, but I don't see it as a negative thing. I think of it as I'm serving my audience. That's what I'm passionate about. I want to show up. I want to encourage them. And, if I can't, because family comes first to me, that's number one, God and family, then business. Then, if something happens, that's my priority. And I've learned to give myself peace that, hey, you know what? This week's crazy. I'm not going to put that pressure on me to do as much as I normally do and expect to have 1,000 views, and then be discouraged about it. No, I'm just going to keep going. And I believe God sees our effort and intention and heart, and he will bless that no matter what. So whether it's today, whether it's in a month, we will bring in the harvest.
And so you said a really important part there about making a choice not to get discouraged about something. That can be an hourly or daily or minute by minute choice, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Yes. And what's your personal tips to keep your mindset strong and to reset yourself and remind yourself, oh, I did that again? Because some of it can be quite habitual for many of us.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one huge lesson I had last year, it was a really tough year for me. I broke my wrist, I lost my grandma, a lot of things went wrong. And that was a wake-up call for me, because I realized if we do not feed the brain, keep our mindset sharp, that's a daily thing. As if we eat food, we have to feed the brain. What do we mean by that? Maybe you want to meditate, pray, gratitude, journal. Just be in a space where you're really grateful and thankful, and think about nothing that worries you or to-do list. Just think about good things and positive thoughts. And then go to the people that you are, they're an inspiration to you and motivate you, and listen to that and just stay plugged in. If you find yourself too busy and you skip that part, because I've done that, I've skipped that, and I've skipped working out because, oh my gosh, like there's too much to do today, so I think I can just pull those out. No, those are super important, because again, it's like a slow fade. If you keep doing that, in a week, you'll notice, oh, I'm not as sharp in myself and as positive, and I'm feeling discouraged. But if you look back, it's because you haven't fed the brain. So I find that super important. And for me, maybe this sounds geeky, but I have, my favorite quotes that inspire me and motivate me at my desk, on my laptop, on my mirror. And literally, there's times when I have to stop myself and give myself a talking. I'll have to talk it through. You've got this. Why am I doing this? This is why. This is good. This is good for me, good for them. Yes, it's hard, but that doesn't mean I have to quit. So you have to kind of do that, to yourself. That's how I handle it. and then when it's really bad, I do go to my husband because he's been such a major support. And we have to have that. I think this is important. We have to have, and if your spouse isn't supportive, maybe go to, a best friend or your upline leader, someone you trust that's not going to allow you to wallow, but that will give you that space to kind of, just vent for 1 minute, then get over it and move on. Because if we stuff it in, that's not healthy either.
That's very, very good advice. And so what does the AgTag message? So I know there was a launch and there's a group on Facebook. I'm not quite, I did watch it quite closely. I'm quite part-time in my business because of another distraction. But
Yes.
I did watch it quite closely for a while, and there seems to be quite a lot of support. Is it mostly North American, or is it relevant for international as well?
I believe it's supposed to be international. As far as I know, one of the South African teams, they're crushing it, but they've been doing this before Manatech had ever launched it, incorporating it. Now they do have other, things that they put into their own system that they've created. But yes, absolutely, it's international. And it's, it does take time to learn it. But once you learn it, it's not as overwhelming. And it is. If anyone is interested in, I just need a system step by step, do this, do this, do this, do this, ATM is your thing. Otherwise, you're going to waste a lot of time. That's where I was a couple of years ago. I had no system, and I was frustrated because I didn't know where to begin, what to do. Of course, you need to call and you need to prospect. But what else is there? Once you bring someone in, where do they go? Where do you plug them in? What do you do? And once they're there, how do you cultivate that so that they stay in Manatech? So that's one thing that I really want to point out is, I understand some people might not be techie or not as in favor of social media or anything like that, but just consider this. When you bring someone in, whether they're a prospect for the business opportunity or a customer, and you plug them into these two groups, it is like it's you and now however many Manatechers are in there, you've linked arms together with them and you're working and dripping on your customer or associate prospect and even customer that's already signed up to keep them engaged and staying with us by the content in the group. So we're actually working really hard on that right now. We want to create a culture where it's safe, it's engaging, it's educational. It'll be like, inspiring because we're going to highlight people and their stories and testimonies. You can't do that to a person that just sits in your phone or your email address. So I think that's super powerful because they come in there, and until they decide to remove themselves from the group, they are watching and they're being dripped on with content all the time. And you're not doing that. You're doing other things. So I really think that's very powerful.
So to clarify for people that may not understand what we're talking about, ultimately you've got a connection with someone, whether it's on social media or off, and you bring them into Facebook.
Yes.
And you get their permission to add them to a group. How would you go about doing that?
So exactly, say you met someone, and exactly, this is for people that you might have met at a party, at a function, maybe in the grocery store. Maybe you are one of those people that does that really well and it works for you. That's fantastic. You can say, hey, do you have Facebook? Because mostly everyone does. Sometimes I'm surprised, some people don't. And then you say, I'd like to connect with you there because I have an amazing group, and you can check it out and kind of come from a point of it's their choice. Just check it out. You're my guest in there. At all, anytime, if you don't want to be a part of it, you can totally remove yourself. No offense taken whatsoever. But I think it would be awesome for you to check it out, to see other people, to see the testimonies, to see the before and afters, that kind of thing. And just really sell it to them that it is a community and a family, that, if they're interested in the product, there's other thousands of people that are interested in the product. And that's what they do. They come into this community, they ask questions, things like that. We go live in there. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, of course, because it's the beginning, and I think it's going to take a couple of years to get it really oiled
Pumping,
and
yeah.
going well. Yeah. But
So is this
I think
this is a joint Manatech group, isn't it, for any crossline for anybody?
I'm sorry, you chopped out. What did you say?
My internet goes funny sometimes. It's a joint Manatech group that's crossline for anybody that wants to jump in and support this initiative, correct?
Absolutely, that's right. So the only thing that is, I believe it's clearly stated somewhere, it is for all Manatechers. And say, as we start to do events, for example, Al and I were just talking that there's this really incredible thing that I came across, and I brought it to his attention, and he really loved it, is to create events within the group well in advance so that the people in the group are notified and they know what's going on, and they'll come to that event. Say, for example, Black Friday or something like that, or our manifest, whatever it is. And what was I going to say? What was your question again?
It was about bring them into the crossline group that's available to everyone.
Right. That's right. Thank you. And so we have it, we're going to make it very clear, and we did put it somewhere that, if someone comes and we put an event, say for Black Friday, anyone can tag their people and prospects underneath that post. And when someone, replies, it would be very ethical and very, kind for the person to say, someone to say, go back to the person that invited you to this event. So there, obviously, there's going to be no absolutely, how do I say it in English? Lack of a better word, like no stealing prospects, I guess. We'll make it very clear that whoever brought you to this event, go back to them and ask for more information. So we always honor that, sponsorship and system and everything like that.
I know there's a lot of questions, and I can't remember the names of the group. I know there was a True Health one.
M True Health,
and
yeah. And The Ultimate Gig.
The Ultimate Gig, that's right. So, oh, look at there, Rachel. Rachel's brought you to us out of her, again, we were chatting before we started just about how Diana's perspective was that Rachel's recent to the new systems in Manatech. So some of us are having to change big course to embrace the new initiatives. And some people just go, this is fantastic. And, I really get what Rachel says, where, this is same as you. It's actually the same as me ever since I came in. You want to do something that's duplicable for everyone. So you could be a superstar, you could have special gifts, and we all do in our own particular area. But you want to make the system easy that people can flourish within their own strengths. And I believe this is one, we've always had a Facebook group, but it would be even better to have one that's a global family. And I can identify with what you're saying, that when I'm bringing someone into our group, we talk about it is a family. And I often mention the words that, people are praying for what we have in regards to there's so much power in our hands to improve our wellness that everyday people aren't made aware of anymore. And we're all in there to back each other up. So things like that, whether it's for income or wellness, that essence of that, it's a welcoming family of common minds, I think is a really easy, non-threatening way to invite someone into a Facebook group. Obviously, not everybody's on Facebook, and then you just have to go to plan B. But I think, again, what you're saying, Loredana, is it's so amazing for reach and for opening doors that aren't available if you're stuck at home in isolation or whatever your lifestyle might be.
Especially nowadays, right? Like, look at what happened with COVID. I mean, even corporate jobs went online. So we're in the perfect space, the perfect time, to learn and utilize these fantastic tools. And I see the future so bright. It's so exciting.
Fantastic. So you talked about inviting, and you add them to group, you tag them, and then you keep in touch with them via Messenger. You imagine you wouldn't want them just to get lost in the big group, touch base with them regularly. What do you do?
Yeah, so you add tag message. So the message after you've tagged them, you go back and you say, hey, this is the group. And I actually copy the link and put it right in Messenger. Too many times people have lost it because we all get so many notifications. And if they look tomorrow, it's gone way down. So I just copy the link and put it in the Messenger. So it's right there for them to click. And I'll say, check it out. As we were talking, this is the video I tagged you in. Let me know what you think. And then, there's different variables that we all hear, whatever is natural for you and however you want to word it, but you can ask them, hey, do you have 5 minutes or however long the video is to watch it right now? Or when is the best time? So then whatever they say, you say, great. If they say now, you say, okay, I'll, connect with you in 5 minutes, or I'll check with you at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And then you leave it at that. And then you follow up. That's where, that's something I think we all can shape up on, is the follow-up. We get busy and, people slip through the crack. And sometimes, luckily, they will come to us, but I forget who put the stat out. Oh, in our ATM training. Oh, the percentage was massive. I mean, massive. I think somewhere up towards 80, 85% of people don't do the follow-up. And it's like you're leaving all that out there on the table. And really, it's a disservice, but that comes from, fear. What are they going to say? Now you're making up stories in your head. What if they say no? What if this? What if that? And that's where the personal development comes in, and you have to do it every day. Every day you got to tell yourself, I'm going to crush it. I'm serving people. It's not about me. It's about them. It's their space to say no. I respect the no, that kind of thing. And then you just go through the numbers.
No, that's fantastic. And so I've put the links in the comments. So for anybody that is on live today, you can just look and there's links to the actual group, so you can go check it out. So it's a little, the other thing we need to qualify this with is that also you need to follow your upline. You need to follow your team system. Having said that, all of us as leaders within organizations will have people in our team that may have a different style. So I highly recommend that you just have an open conversation about that. And if your team isn't into social media, just say, listen, this is Manatech endorsed, and this is a place where I can have a team focused on this type of marketing, and I'm still happy to be in your organization. Because there's very professional and adult ways we can have conversations about that. Because really, you started this call, Loredana, with such wise words. We're all different, aren't we? And we need to play to our strengths. Yeah, exactly. Well, also, it's coming to mind, we also need to learn new skills. So for many, I can scan on this, the attendees today, people who are with us live today, and I can see that some of us have been in Manatech for 20 some years. So, a lot of us have had to learn new skills in that time. And like you've said, Loredana, you said it really beautiful. If it's worth it, it can be hard, but it's worth it. And that you keep going through that. So we do need to reinvent ourselves several times. So in regards to, once again, you're doing your lives, you're adding tagging and messaging to either the True Health or the Ultimate Gig, so you can focus on either wellness or income. Do you ever bring M5 into it? Because we haven't really focused on that. That's been a passion of yours.
Yes, actually, I lead with M5M quite often. And it just, again, it depends. You have to feel out. And I think, again, we always learn and evolve. I don't think we'll ever get there, just like in life. I think we're always learning and growing. But I just listen to, what type of person am I talking to? If they're just an athlete and they're gung-ho, they've not shared any, inclination to me that they're interested in missions, I don't mention it. But if they are, if I can pick up, and this is where, we learned the disc, which I'm still, that's intense. You have to learn who your people are. And that's an art. I think that takes quite a long time to learn how people speak and them giving you clues of who they are. But yeah, I do. And I want to mention too, for anyone that's thinking, well, what about Manatech app and all the other tools? It's all encompassing. ATM is not just, on its own over here. And then we have Manatech App Plus, and then we have, whatever else. No, it's all encompassing. You're using all the tools together. And ATM is really just a system of social media attraction marketing. So I use, Manatech Plus app all the time. I will go and grab a video, bring it into Messenger. There's a couple ways you can do it and show them the person. Because sometimes right off the bat, if I sense that they don't want to be in a group or like I'm pushing them into something, I don't approach that way. If they'll say, actually, no, I'm not interested in the group. I just want to see the video. Great. Then I'll just send them the video from my Manatech app plus, and then we'll build rapport. And eventually my goal is to get them in the group, because I know very well my effort versus the whole group's effort is way more powerful. So if I can leverage off of that and be me times 100, why not? But so yeah, I just wanted to clarify that to make sure that people understand. If you're using Manatech App Plus, amazing, keep doing that. If you're reaching out with email, super, but have a goal to eventually have them a way to get them into that group, because you got to keep in mind, like I said, it's you times 50 or 100 people that are going to be dripping and nourishing these people, so to speak, with content and engagement and fun and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's really good advice, because it does need to embrace, there is no one right way. And you may have even different phases in your business where you'll adjust and add, I think you said pivot is a great word, so that people pivot all the time in business and stay current and active. So great to learn new things. A few jokes happening in here about people learning new things at old age, but thanks, Sue.
That's amazing. Because see, my upline and my leader that's in my one leg, they will say, we're not tech savvy, we hate social media. Basically, they didn't actually quite say it like that, but they were afraid of it, afraid of lives, afraid of everything. Well, now they're getting customers from their lives and getting connections. So we do joke a lot about that. Like, had they not embraced my crazy ideas, because I'm young and crazy, they would have missed out on that. So you're right. We do have to, be out of the box and open-minded. Otherwise, we really limit ourselves, and the opportunities aren't as big.
Fantastic. And Loredana, we've got 10 minutes left. Is there anything that I haven't touched on that's important to you?
Yes. Well, I just really think it's important to, out of anything, it's important to get out there and really have confidence within yourself that you do have something to give. In fact, it's even more important than that. You are robbing people of not sharing your story, who you are, your journey, your ups and downs. That's something that I learned just recently this year, actually through ATM. The trainers in that group challenged us, to how do we tell our story? And we all struggle with telling our story, especially for us, we are the health company, the science company. How do we say it compliantly when we talk about products? And so we get all like muddled up with words, and we overthink it, and we get stressed out. And I've done that for so many years that I had forgotten how powerful my story is, but not just about the products, me as a person, my journey in life. And that's what people want to hear. They want to connect with you, the person. What happened to you as a kid? How did you grow up? And then they resonate with you. And how amazing, for me, for example, if I talk about being malnourished and why Manatech M5M attracted me, well, that makes sense now. They feel my heart instead of just hearing a story about M5M, which is kind of vague and out there. We all know there's, problems in the world, but how do we connect it to them so they feel what we feel? I think that's super important. So don't hold back. Yeah, live videos in the beginning is scary. I get these updates with Facebook, how they tell you 4 years ago or whatever. And I just die laughing sometimes because, and not that I'm like super, I've got it all now. I still can grow for sure. We always do. But if I look at, videos from 4 years ago, they're terrible. They're so bad. And you can tell I'm shy, I'm reserved, I don't know what I'm saying. And it's just, it's awkward, but you have to be, what's that saying? You have to be good before you're great and great before you're awesome, something like that. And I really do believe that. So go out there, like don't hold it back. and just test the waters. That's the one beautiful thing about Facebook and Instagram or any platform. Whether you're posting on your news feed or your stories are amazing. 24 hours, if you messed up and you feel like you did something wrong there, who cares? In 24 hours, it's gone, whatever. Try again tomorrow. On your news feed, doesn't matter. If you think your live was that terrible, don't do this though, because I do want you to be able to see, like, 5 years from now, 4 years, how much you've grown if you do start to do live video. But there's been times when mine just really bombed and I left it up there so that I was consistent and I didn't miss my live. But then a week later, I'd go back and erase it. So, we have control, total control. So don't feel like you're closed in. Let yourself go, explore, experiment, have fun. And actually, you're going to see how powerful that is. And that will actually, that's what's going to create your authenticity. If you go out there and you're trying to be prim and proper and perfect and like copy someone, people feel it. And actually, that was a really wake-up call to me. The two coaches that were teaching us in ATM, he was teaching us about how to tell our stories. And then I practiced that and I went and did it the next day. And I actually was kind of in tears in our training because he said, Loredana, out of the time that we've been together, which was 90 days plus, that is the first time I saw you. He said, the other live videos, you're strong, you're put together, you're perfect. It's like nothing's wrong with you. Not that we don't put our dirty laundry out. Do you know what I'm saying? But you have to be vulnerable and show your authenticity, or else people, they will kind of glaze past you maybe and just say, I can't relate. Like, I can't relate with her. So I'm starting to do that more. And I'm actually seeing a lot of traction since I've been doing that. People relate to the stories. And do it in a way that's not woe is me. Of course, we're always positive and encouraging, but there's nothing wrong with sharing the pains of what you're going through. So for one small example, if your goal is, well, I've never done live video, I want to start, I think it's good, but I'm super scared about it, then go on your live video and talk about that. Hey guys, this is my first live video. I am terrified. I can't even look at that dot. I'm scared. Have you ever been like this? Show me some love. Did you feel like this when you started on your journey? That kind of thing. And then we're so much more approachable, and then people will listen to what we have to say. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Yes, busy family on a Saturday morning. It's crazy back out there. I'm trying to protect everybody from it. Where do you see Manatech going in the next 5 years?
Exploding on social media. My heart, honestly, I love other companies and I think they're great, but I think we truly are the best, especially when it comes to our science and how good quality our products are. And then our culture and our mission and our passion, we're something truly special. And I really want to see us be all over, but not spammy. I don't like when I see spammy stuff, plastered all over, but us taking ground and being attractive and people having come to us to ask, what are you a part of? Because I see a lot of other companies, they have so much traction and they're doing it the right way. And I think to myself, no, like your products are good. And I've looked at what you have. We have something truly special. We need to be out there, standing out, frontline, household name. So that's what I hope for Manatech. And I know we'll get there. I'm so thankful for Al and the team, how they are thinking outside the box and for the future, because really the future is definitely online.
What's your heart to leave people with today?
I'm sorry?
What's in your heart to leave people with today?
I would just say, don't throw in the towel, especially for those of you that are maybe new. It is going to be tough sometimes, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And, for me, I have a goal and I need to reach it. And I promised myself, 5 years ago, that until I meet that, I'm not going to stop. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to be committed, not for my upline, not for my downline, not for anybody else except for myself. And I need to be true to that and keep my commitment. And really every day just review your why. If you don't have your why written down and you don't know it inside out, you're not going to survive, because there'll be days when it's so tough and you'll be like, I can't, I'm throwing in the towel. But if you know your why, those growing pains and those challenges, actually, I am thankful for them, because they really shape us into who we are.
Yeah.
And we become that leader. You don't become a leader overnight. You have to grow, learn the challenges, learn the objections, learn the no's, learn the haters. Oh my gosh, the haters that are going to just throw things at you. I've been 7 years doing this, and I'm telling you guys, the first 5 years, and no discouragement to anyone, that was my 5 years, is just negative, thrown in my face, and negative. Like, it was super tough. But now it's like I've broken through that, and I know how to talk to these people that are like that. And I have a backbone. I don't, get all bent out of shape now. And it's super powerful when you can get to that space, but you can't just be there. You gotta, grow in it.
Loredana, it's been a blessing. There's so much gratitude in the chat for you. And now you're going to have a little cheering team from Australasia. We've got your back for your goals. We want to see you.
Yeah.
We want to see you win. So thank you so very much for your generosity of your time today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Sharon. I appreciate all of you guys. Lots of love and prayers and well-being sent from Canada.
Thank you. Where in Canada?
Ontario. Near
Fantastic.
Toronto. Mm-hmm.
I was born in Edmonton, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's where we want to go.
Yeah,
well,
Banff. Canada. Banff. Yeah. Well, I recommend it. So everybody, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you next week with Rachel Davey. Bring your notebook and pen again, and everybody have a great weekend. Bye, Loredana. Thanks again.